For the best in online racing, this is the Mixed Energy Formula Online Racing Podcast. News, reviews, standings, quizzes, questions, with Formula Online Racing official commentator George Morgan. Enjoy the show. This week on the FOR podcast, we look back at the events of Monaco and back at Paulie Orange's P1 victory at that famous Monte Carlo circuit. We also look back at Bahrain from last Tuesday in the very first round here at the FOR Mixed Energy race in F2 at the Bahrain circuit, the Sakhir International Circuit of Bahrain. And we'll look back at all the action from that auspicious event in both the feature race and the sprint race. Hello guys, and welcome back to the Formula Online Racing channel. You are here for the very first episode of the Formula Online Racing podcast with me, George Morgan, obviously the official commentator for the Mixed Energy Formula Online Racing League as such. We're going to be bringing you here at the Formula Online Racing podcast a rundown of the action from the past week, including Saturday's race at Monaco, and going forward it'll be every Saturday's F1 action as well as the F2 action every Tuesday as well. In today's episode we will be looking back, as we said earlier during the intro, we will be looking back at Monaco from last Saturday, as well as looking at some interviews as well after the race, given the action that we had. It certainly was an action-packed event and certainly wowed spectators alike. Then we'll be looking back at the action from F2 at the Bahrain Sakhir International Circuit, looking back at the final stages of that Grand Prix as well in both the feature race and the sprint race as well. Certainly lots of thrills and spills to come here on the show, and I hope you're all looking forward to it. If you haven't done so already, please obviously subscribe to the channel and stay in tune for more Formula Online Racing events, whether that be the Grand Prix on a Saturday or Tuesday, or if you just want to follow the FOR podcast, please do so down below. Please smash a like down below, folks, and leave a comment as well. Your support is very, very, very much grateful. If you want to leave a comment as well, we will be reading out comments as well, and we're hoping to do some driver interviews live on the podcast as well. So if you have any questions you want to field to the drivers for us to ask, then please show them down below as well, and certainly offer your support to this ever-growing league, this fantastic league that we've got here, Formula Online Racing, sponsored by Mixed Energy, of course. If you're looking for a discount off your energy products, please smash the product code of FOR 2020 into your shopping cart, and you will get 10% off all your Mixed Energy products. So please make sure you do that and support the channel. But guys, let's move on. Let's watch the ending of that Formula 1 race around Monaco at the Monte Carlo circuit. On him right now as they make their way through the Nouvelle Chicane, heading towards the latter stages of lap 37 and 39 now. As you can see now, Paulie Orange will soon be commencing lap 38 on this circuit, and as you can see, he's just coming out onto the home stretch now. Yossi Heinze still holding off the advances, like I said, of Andenge, but he's getting closer and closer and tighter, and Andenge having a little look down the outside of the racing point. You can't overtake there, son. You can't overtake there as they open up the DRS now. Andenge now bombing down the straight, the gap though increasing to 5 tenths should I say, as they make their way around Saint-Devote now. But can Andenge do it, leading into the Casino stretch now, going up the Beau Rivage? He's all over the tail end of Yossi Heinze, and he's making a move here potentially on the racing point. Oh, a little bit of squirreliness going around the Casino bend now, and that could have cost him, but he's okay, and he keeps the car on the track now, leading towards Yossi Heinze, immediately defends the position, but Andenge trying to muscle his way through here, Luke.
Yeah, he's getting desperate. He wants to ensure he's got that second place, but he doesn't need to do anything, because I think at the moment, taking into account the penalty situation, that will be good enough for him, because Yossi Heinze has 6 seconds of penalties and Andenge only has 3 seconds, I believe, at the moment. So this should be good enough to still secure that Alfa Romeo the second place, but he wants to get it done out on track. Now has a bit of damage to his front wing. That is going to make it ever so slightly harder for him, and Birussia, he's still got Draftas and Jon Palainen all over the back of him. Iveggio has just dropped back slightly on this lap.
He has indeed. I think obviously the 27 lap old mediums are starting to pay the price for a reg right now, and might be starting to get a little bit slidey around this Monaco circuit as Alan goes above NUF1, as NUF1 has spun out there at the Nouvelle Chicane. So Alan managing to gain a place. The two McLarens now in the points, so they're getting some handy points for their constructors' hopes this season, and they're currently in the table. In the bottom half of the constructor standings, so any little bit can help the McLaren team right now.
Contact Andenge and Yossi went side by side there, coming up towards Beau Rivage. I said if you stick to the middle of the track, there was just about a car's width, but with the way the barrier winds about there. That gap quickly closed, and Anden's now in big damage to his front wing. That should be enough to secure second place for Yossi out on track. And if the damage is substantial enough, he may even do it after penalties.
He could well do. I mean, looking at it, the wing damage on that Alfa is in fact very severe. The two end plates are missing on the front of that car as they make their way through the tunnel now. Yossi Heinze with a newfound of confidence now, obviously knowing that the car behind has got severe damage. He makes his way through the Nouvelle chicane with his 1/2 wing damage as well, making his way through towards Tabach. And you can see the blue flags are waving here now. And he had to slow down a bit there, nearly lost a little bit of traction, and didn't want to make a visit into the wall. But Paulie Orange has taken the P1 here for the Haas team now. So congratulations to Paulie Orange for winning the Monaco Grand Prix. He's got to be chuffed with that, as we now see Paulie Orange taking the plaudits here. Yossi Heinze will come home in P2, but will he come home in P2 after penalties? No, he won't. He'll be in P3 and he'll drop down to P4. Droftas up to the top 3 after all the carnage, and he's actually dispatched Borussia, who's now dropped to P7. Luke, what a finish.
Just at Monaco, it's so important to keep it clean, just because it's so close together, the battles can be. You've seen how much they've dropped down some of the drivers. Borussia losing 3 places in the end. Yossi losing 2 places. That all stems from an incident. We didn't see it on the stream. He lost a big chunk of his front wing, and I suddenly noticed the gap to Paulie Orange had shrunk. In the end, 4th place is the best he could manage. John Palainen getting 5th, Irej in 6th, Borussia 7th, Island 8th, New F1 in 9th, and it'll be Stringy B rounding out the points in 10th position.
Yes, Paulie Orange managing to capitalise and take P1 there at Monaco after a great result, leading him into P1, and a great result for the Haas team as well. And Denge, out of all the drama, managing to nick P2 after that constant stream and a battle with that of Yossi Heinze, who looked like a dead-set favourite to win the race from the start of the Grand Prix, but unfortunately due to penalties was whittled down the order. But the big surprise there, Droftas continuing his great form at Monaco after that intense battle with Borussia through the majority of the ending of that race, managing to take P3 to aid Mercedes championship hopes going in towards the end of the season, and naturally they'll want to be whittling their way up towards the top 3, but Haas managing to move up to the top 3 though after that win from Paulie Orange, and he adds another 25 points after his race win last week, and he does the double 2 weeks running, so well done him. We will now catch some interviews there with Paulie Orange just to get his thoughts on what happened in that Monaco Grand Prix.
Paulie Orange, second victory in a row. Did you really think that was on up until the point where you saw just a slow Pink Panther just ahead of you with a front wing damage?
No way. First time I thought I might have a chance is when I saw a bit of a Force India end plate sitting on the track. It was hard work.
Hello?
Definitely didn't make it easy for you trying to get past as well, but a great move from yourself on the chicane. Was that something you'd planned a couple of laps before and seen where he was weak, because you were behind him for a few laps?
I was trying. I was a bit negative on fuel, so I was trying to charge everything up, and then luckily he sort of lost a bit of traction coming into the tunnel. Managed to get right behind him and stuck it in.
Just to ask, I mean, obviously, given the circuit, I mean, how did you find the tyre life set there? Was it really hard knuckling out there? I mean, naturally, it's a bit of a whiz bang is Monaco, certainly when it comes to tyre life. How did you feel the tyres cope with the track out there today?
We got to pit early because of the safety car. The hards were getting a bit slippy towards the end, but it wasn't anything too bad. I quite like this track.
Yeah, I can tell. I mean, obviously you don't get to P1 without liking it, do you, I suppose? But I got to say...
Well, I shouldn't have won, really. I shouldn't have won.
Well,
that Force India was definitely quicker.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Or Racing Point in this case.
Yeah, that's the one. The pink one with the white bits.
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, a very humble Paulie Orange there, taking yet his second victory in a row here in the FOR F1 Championship. Just looking though further at the top though, after that race, currently we have a championship leader, an unexpected championship leader, may I just add, Droftas at the top for the Silver Arrows team, and though he's in close hot pursuit from Borussia, 6 points separating the two in the Drivers' Championship right now, but after a P3 finish, Droftas feeling all the more confident. Droftas, what a move into P3. It looked like, we were saying in the commentary box, you were left frustrated by Borussia. How much were you sweating in that position towards the end of that race?
It wasn't so bad. It was only 21 laps behind him. I knew he had penalties, so I knew if I sat behind him, I'd gain a place.
How was the grip on those mediums getting towards the end of that race? Because obviously he had the harder compound on. We were anticipating that maybe he'd draw clear, given the fact that he had the better tyre life maybe towards the end of the race. How were you finding those mediums towards the end? Were they feeling still as effective towards the latter stages of the race?
The last 2 laps were scary, but other than that, they were fine until then. They only went off around lap 37, 38, but the safety car came out 2 laps early for me.
Just a big well done on keeping it clean. It's not surprising that you got a penalty in the last few laps on those older tyres. With the fact that you had Jon Palainen just behind you, perhaps, did that make you a bit more cautious on trying to attack the Red Bull ahead of you?
I did have a look a few times, but he had everywhere covered. The only 2 places you can pass, in my opinion, around Monaco. Both times he just put the car where he needed to. So at that point, I thought I'll sit behind him and let him make the mistake. Which he didn't.
You didn't, but thankfully for you kept it clean, and that has got yourself a podium and leading the championship.
Yeah, I don't know how that's happened, but I'll take it.
A very satisfied Droftas there, speaking to myself and Luke after that race at Monaco, where he picked up that brilliant P3 result, putting him at the top of the championship. Very soon now we'll be leading into Canada for the next round. That'll be round 7 at Montreal, and that'll be this Saturday, so don't miss it. Be sure to be there. The invites tend to go out to the drivers at 8:30, but be sure to join us. The stream will be live at that point, but it will all commence properly at 8:45, so be sure to be here on the channel ready for the start of that Grand Prix and the qualifying session. Obviously we're getting underway in Q1 there. Just to give you some reports there of some incidents that were recorded. Jonathan Cox has picked up a Q2 ban for no race footage and blocking Lawrence 18 during his fast lap qualifying. Yossi Heinzer picking up a Q3 ban for Canada due to no footage at Monaco, unfortunately. So that means that the newly appointed Racing Point driver is not going to be able to take part in Q3. And Denge picking up a full quali ban for failing to uphold a Q3 ban during last weekend at Monaco. He actually went out on the track without the knowledge of the admin team, and we've managed to obviously it's been looked at by the stewards, and he will not be taking part in qualifying at Canada. So that will be a drop there for the Alfa Romeo team. Naturally, though, they have the pace to bring it back up, so it'll be interesting to see how they get on despite the slump. And obviously the Racing Point drivers both being penalised this weekend. Both of them will not be featuring in Q3, and in Johnny Cox's case, he'll be retiring at the start of Q2. So we'll look forward to bringing you live coverage of the Canadian Grand Prix on Saturday, and that is kicking off at 8:30 in the evening, GMT UK time. So be sure to be there for that. But now, moving on in today's show, let's move and look at the F2 footage from last Tuesday in the Bahrain Grand Prix at the Sakhir International Circuit. We will start with the feature race where Borussia took a very, very poignant lead at the start of the Grand Prix, and he pretty much led from start to finish. Check out the footage here. We have the ending to that Grand Prix. Won championship this season, and let's see if he can replicate a lot of his pace here in F2. Currently a little bit lower in the classification zone. Currently just under 7.5 seconds from Mumford Plays, who's currently occupying P7 right now too. But anyway, very fast driver on his day.
Yes, definitely. I think he would want to be a little bit higher in the races leading after this, but certainly for a start in race, it's not too bad. So I would be happy with Peter if that was me, so I believe anyone from will be happy with that as well.
Sure he will be as he comes down towards turn 1 now, taking his car in. Down towards the first bend now, very easy on the brakes. Certainly around here, you've got to be a little bit more careful in the context of using these cars, because naturally the actual traction themselves is a little bit different to that of an F1 car. Obviously with the F1 cars, as they get quicker, the grip gets more and more. But naturally in these, they don't go quite as fast as the F1 car, should I say. And a lot of the grip you have to almost obtain yourself through careful and steady driving as they make their way around now. And Jonathan Cox, incidentally, too, getting close to the back of Lawrence now, 6/10 the gap, and Jon Palainen not getting away either. He's also getting into the 6/10 mark, in the 6/10 mark, sorry. And Jonathan Cox dropping back to a second behind Lawrence. So I tell you what, it's all to play for. But Borussia still leading the race.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Dan Murphy's going to want to see to that as soon as he can, but he hasn't got long left because they are approaching the final lap, I believe.
You certainly are. Just watching now. We'll follow Borussia around because obviously he's got Dan Murphy pressing on him right now. 7-10 separating these two as they come down towards the final bend. The Prima there of Borussia coming round. The Richard Mille sponsor there, you can see on the halo of the car. Little bit of slippiness there coming on the inset, and he controlled it well as he makes his way down the home stretch there. Borussia really hoping to capture his best form that we generally see in F1 car racing, as you see Flip Flop Fish take the fastest lap with a 1:42.247, and again all these drivers on medium compound tyres. Naturally you won't see many pit stops in an 8-lap forecast, so naturally it's all down to bare knuckle fighting really on the track too.
Yeah, see, the interesting thing with these F2 races is they're a lot shorter, but also it kind of allows someone back away, because I believe what's interesting with these cars is I think the slipstream might actually be less due to having less downforce and a little bit more drag. So these cars haven't got as many electronic aids as what the F1 cars have, so they're tougher to drive. So definitely more skill involved, as was mentioned a little earlier on.
Well, we have a very, very condensed calendar here for the Grand Prix. I mean, obviously for the F2 Grand Prix, shall I say, the F2 calendar quite condensed in comparison to that of the F1 calendar. The schedule for this season at the moment, we've obviously got Bahrain here today, but following this we'll be returning to Spain at the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya for the F2 Challenge, as we now watch Borussia make his way around Sector 2. Following Spain, we then got Azerbaijan, the Baku Street Circuit, where we've already raced the F1 cars around, and then we're coming up to Austria for the Austrian Grand Prix, and then following that we've got the British Grand Prix, the Hungarian Grand Prix, Belgium after that, the famous Spa-Francorchamps track, where obviously the scene of Anthony Hubert's Antoine Hubert, should I say, incident that unfortunately cost him his life, and hopefully we can put a bit of a spectacle on the circuit. The Italian Grand Prix follows that, the Russian Grand Prix, and then of course we have the grand finale at Abu Dhabi, where the championship could well be quizzed. But obviously Borussia now taking P1 and the plaudits here for the Prima team. Dan Murphy in P2 and Flip Flop Fish finishing in P3, Lawrence in P4, Jon Palainen managing to capture Jonathan Cox there in the dying moments, takes P5, Jonathan Cox P6, and Mumford Place finishes P7. Anyway, yes, Borussia taking P1 there at the feature race of the F2 race at Bahrain at the Sakhir International Circuit, beating Dan Murphy from the Uni Vitosi racing team in P2, and followed then by Flip Flop Fish, who came home in P3. But yes, following the Prima driver Borussia's win at Bahrain in the feature race, could he replicate that in the sprint race? Naturally, Dan Murphy also baying for blood, looking to snatch back that P1 position. But what would happen in the sprint race going in to the next round? Obviously, Borussia claiming the 25 points in the feature race. 15 points for the winner in the sprint race. So let's see who it goes to. Mumford Place not having the most graceful of races here. Unfortunately, after that little issue, just seemed to have gone a little bit downhill for him after that start of the Grand Prix, which is a big shame because he looked like he was in a prominent position coming out of that. But looking further up, the Nuts Asylum gaining some serious places there, so he's managed to capitalise on all the drama here, and no doubt looking to stamp his authorities. He makes his way around the ex-right-hander now. He's in Sector 2, entering Sector 3 now, so very soon the home straight will beckon. As you can see, Stringy B all over the back, just around about 7/10, now a second, so Nuts really getting some pace upon these cars at the moment, and starting to really get the most out of his dams at the moment, driving Sete Camera's car, in fact, as he makes his way down the straight now, and he is currently 6.5 tenths from Denge, but still, P9, not bad. Certainly a better recovery drive from his first race, and like we say too, improvements are the question in this racing.
Definitely not. There's always room for everyone, as we've just seen Jon Palainen get past Jonathan Cox, and also Dan Murphy's taking the lead from F1 as well.
Yeah, great, excellent moving from Dan Murphy, and already he's pounced clear by 7/10, and Jon Palainen and Jonathan Cox going wheel to wheel again. Jonathan Cox not letting sleeping dogs lie here, and he's chasing Jon Palainen for that P5. Jon Palainen being very stern in refusing to let the Italian driver into P5 as they make their way around the next right-handers. You see Droftas there making a place on Stringy B, and Droftas in the Charoux car, and he's managing to increase his advantage by 2.5 seconds. We see Mumford Place move above Stringy B, so there must have been an incident involved there too.
Yeah, Stringy B. I saw Stringy B spin off there. I'm not sure if that was a lost traction or a little bit of contact with Droftas. I'm not too sure.
It's a big shame for MP Motorsport there. Unfortunately, not getting the most out of this race weekend, but still, all the action's been excellent. As we see Mumford Plays go off as well, so we could see a tussle between him and Stringy B going into the rest of this Grand Prix. As we look further up now, Lawrence, I got to say too, the gaps between the top five certainly almost minimal. I suppose you include the top six because Jonathan Cox only 6/10 away from Jon Palainen.
Yeah, not at all. There's only a gap of probably around 3 seconds settling the top 6 drivers, so it's very close indeed.
So here's Lawrence now bombing down the straight, 7/10 away from NUF1 currently, and still holding on to P3. We are now in the final lap of this sprint race. Points to be decided here, folks, for this second race of this feature in sprint race weekend here at Bahrain, and certainly some points to be thrown into the mix as we now watch Dan Murphy still plough his way 7/10 clear of NUF1, going down towards the next right-hander, and the Uni Virtuosi racing team looking to get some serious points here. Jon Palainen currently in P5. He can also garner some points for his team as Jonathan Cox swoops in on the inside, and what an overtake too! P5 for Johnny Cox, and he lines up his ART in P5, and more points for that team because Lawrence in P3 stands to earn good points as well.
Yeah, definitely, but Jon Palainen's not finished yet. It's going to go and does Jonathan Cox does the traction there. It's going to allow Jon Palainen to have a look down the inside.
It certainly will, and it's who's bravest going down to this corner, because we all know how risky it is, as we now see Jon Palainen making his way around the bend, taking his car round the bend now in the Uni Virtuosi racing car, and heading up now towards the next left-hander, that swooping left-hand bend, with Jonathan Cox still leading Jon Palainen around the bend. Oh, a little bit of grip losing there. About 3/10 now away from Jonathan Cox. We now watch Dan Murphy, who makes his way down towards the next straight before the final corner. We've got a string of 4 cars here as we just see Barusha in the background losing all sorts of shape coming out of there. He's chasing Lawrence right now in his Prima, not able to commit the same results as he did in race 1-2, but remember, he finished a little bit down the order. As we watch Dan Murphy now come towards the line now, he will end up finishing here in P1 here in the sprint race. What a race for Dan Murphy, and I'm sure he's happy with that too.
Yeah, it definitely will be. That's a solid amount of points to Dan Murphy. Anyway, Formby, maybe a little bit disappointed that I couldn't hold to his P1 start, but he'll definitely have with some solid points in there for P2. Interesting though, obviously with the sprint race, it's reverse grid order, reverse qualifying grid order, I believe, from the feature race. So it obviously allows drivers to go and take wins that may not previously. So just adds to the spectacle. But yes, congratulations to Dan Murphy for that win.
Yeah, he takes the plaudits here, so it will be 15 points going towards him for his Drivers' Championship quest here. Yes, Dan Murphy taking P1 in the sprint race, and therefore manages to tuck himself just in second place in the Drivers' Championship. 2 points separating that of Barusha and Dan Murphy there in the Drivers' Championship. Barusha obviously for Prima, Dan Murphy for Uni Virtuosi Racing as well. Obviously the next race weekend we'll be bringing you live action, which will be tomorrow in fact, for the Spanish Grand Prix, so be sure to be on the FOR channel for that one. If you want a reminder, please obviously smash a like down below and stay tuned for that one. Same time, obviously we'll be starting the stream around about 8:30, but the off will be at 9 o'clock, and we've made a slight change as well with the actual race conditions. The actual race in the feature race will be 50%, therefore allowing a pit stop, but then we'll be having our proper 5-lap sprint race, sprint to the finish line, should we say, on that race evening, when they will be battling around 5 laps of the Spanish circuit in the sprint race, and that will decide who wins that one. But guys, we'll look forward to that, no doubt. But if you like what you see today, obviously please smash a like I said below, and please obviously leave a subscribe as well. Try and support FOR as best you can. For more race coverage here on the channel, please stay tuned. Obviously, like I said, tomorrow we will be back for F2, and there will be more action there. Can Dan Murphy once again unseat Barusha? Can Barusha take the bull by the horns once again and dominate this race evening in Spain? Or will it be somebody else that creeps through the field? Lawrence 18 currently driving for ART in P3 in the F2 Championship, and could he get ever closer? He's only on 22 points, quite a bit separating him. 13 points separate him and Dan Murphy, between him and P2, so who knows? Anything can happen, certainly here at Mixed Energy Formula Online Racing. But from me, George Morgan, it's been an absolute pleasure. I hope you've enjoyed the very first Formula Online Racing Mixed Energy podcast. Please smash a like I keep saying down below. Don't forget to subscribe, and also use that product code FOR2020 for your 10% off Mixed Energy products. But from me, once again, George Morgan, it's been a pleasure. Goodbye.